Hi guys, I'm in Reykjavik in Iceland. It's so cold, but during this trip I'm going to show you how you can create some awesome video using your GoPro Max and using 360 mode, using hero mode, just using the app to edit, or using Premiere Pro on your computer. Either way, I'm going to show you how you can create awesome footage using this camera. Going to be showing you the settings, going to be showing you some travel vlogs from Iceland. And yeah, it's all going to be shot using the GoPro Max, so everything you see will be shot with this camera. Really hope you enjoy it. I hope you see how beautiful this country is. It's absolutely stunning, but it is very cold. So let's go. Honestly guys, I've never been to a more cold place in my entire life. I can't even speak properly. My mouth is like frozen. This is the most northern capital in the world, but Reykjavik only has a population of about 150,000 I think, or 200,000 max. And the whole country only has a population of about 300,000. So most people live in Reykjavik. This is a cool building. This is Iceland's, I think, main theatre or concert hall or something, and these lights were designed by a Danish artist and they never changed. They're supposed to kind of look like the Northern Lights. I think it's so cool. This is my favourite building in Reykjavik. I love it. I just dived in like a river here. It's minus 18 degrees outside. It was the coldest experience of my life, but also awesome because the water was completely see-through. You could see 100 meters down. I was snorkeling. Look how amazing it is here. I'm in the middle of Iceland, in a national park. It's absolutely stunning. Look at it.
So I was like, yes, you can do it. Right. I was like, yes, but then I realised to give my camera, I can't take. I can't take the camera.
Oh my god!
Just do a picture with us.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, but
To hold it up.
how is it?
It's hard.
It's hard.
Well, it is the truth.
Yeah. At the 7, I'm debating on that thing.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, you can get so many cool shots that you would not be able to get any otherwise.
Right, yeah.
And you kind of don't even have to like point at anything. Like,
Does it come with that long pole with it too? Or?
No, you can get one.
Yeah.
I just happen to have this because I've got other ones, like other 360 stuff. So Yeah, I have like a YouTube channel all about these kind of cameras, so like
Nice, yeah,
just Google it.
What channel you got?
Like it's called The 360 Guy.
The
Like,
360 Guy?
Yeah, so
Cool, man.
if you want to know about it, like check that out.
Yeah,
All right?
no doubt. Appreciate it.
See you, man. Time to go. This is fucking cool though. Welcome to one of Iceland's many glaciers. In fact, there are 14 on this island, and this is the closest you can get to this one. Well, unless you're wearing crampons like these guys over here, but I'm not allowed to go any closer, so we will just have to enjoy the view from here, and it looks awesome. So, this is the glacier. This is about as close as I can get, and it's so cool. Let's go and see if I can touch this little bit of it. It's like see-through. See the little black bits? It's like molten rock. Hi everyone, welcome to the Blue Lagoon. This is one of the 25 natural wonders of the world. It's located in the south of Iceland. It's about -3 degrees outside, but in the water it is much warmer, hence why everyone comes here. It's a natural phenomenon, but it has obviously been adapted for human use. As you can see, there is a visitor centre, there's a whole spa now surrounding this place, and it is really an amazing experience. And this is a face mask which is kind of drying out my skin now, so I'm gonna get rid of it pretty soon by going underwater like this. Now blind. So, still in Iceland. I'm on the famous Black Beach, where the sand is black because it's made from basalt, not from granite. And to be honest guys, I have fallen in love with Iceland, completely and utterly fallen in love with it. This is the most amazing place I've been. The natural landscape is absolutely stunning. It's just out of this world. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope I've sold you on Iceland. It's expensive, but it's worth it. And yeah, hope you enjoy it. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. This was actually shot last year in Iceland around about December last year, and I've only recently had time, thanks to the current situation, to be able to go back and edit it, and I thought I would take the time also to show you how to edit and create this kind of travel vlog using the GoPro Max and Premiere Pro. I'm also going to show you a bit later how to use the GoPro Max app to create a travel vlog. However, what I would say is if you wanted to create a longer form travel vlog like the one you just watched, then I would definitely stick with Premiere Pro and using the GoPro FX Reframe plugins, because it's a lot easier to control, it's a lot easier to add the audio, and a lot easier to create these effects. The app is still great, but it's much better for editing shorter form videos, much better for stuff like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, editing on the go, editing while you're traveling. The app is great for that, but for your longer form travel vlogs, I think it's better to use Premiere Pro. In case you've never used the Max or a GoPro reframe plugin or any kind of reframing plugin, I'm just going to give you a very quick tutorial of how to do that and how that works. Now, as we can see, this is the start of my travel vlog. This is the first clip I shot with, and it's the introduction. And as you can see here, I've used the GoPro VR reframe plugin. All these little dots are keyframes. It basically tells the camera where to be pointing at any one moment. So if we drag along, you can see that the camera moves, or the image moves, zooms in, zooms out, pans around, and that's just me telling it where to go using these keyframes. So I'm going to show you how I did that. So I've copied and pasted the first introduction clip, and I've removed all of the plugins. So this is just the normal 360 video, which you could use to create VR. So here we go. This is what the image looks like in VR. You can drag it around, but that's not great for a kind of normal travel vlog video. If you wanted to create just a normal video reframed, then you need to add one of these plugins. So either the GoPro FX Reframe or GoPro VR Reframe. FX Reframe is newer, so I recommend you download that. They basically achieve the same thing, it's just done in a slightly different way. And as you can see, it transforms. You may need to just adjust the size because I've upscaled this to 4K, and there we go. Now the quality doesn't look great here, but that's because I've got the resolution at a lower setting so that it's easier to edit and a bit smoother. Now the first thing you need to do is choose where you want your camera to be pointing at the very first moment. So we're going to go right to the start of the video, of the clip, and we're going to use this GoPro reframe to choose where we want it to look. So you can either select the plugin and literally drag along the screen in different quadrants. Will either change the tilt, it will change the zoom, it will pan around, zoom in and out. So we can zoom in and out if we drag at the bottom. If we drag at the sides, it makes the camera tilt. And if we drag at the top, and if we drag in the middle, you can pan around. So you're literally selecting where your camera is going to be looking, or where the image is going to be pointed at this moment in time. So I think I want it to be pointing at my face, and I want it to be zooming out. So you can also use this area here to manually pan and manually zoom in and out. So I'm just going to zoom all the way out, not that far, but we're going to start off there right at the start. So once you've selected where you want the image to be pointed, you select your first keyframes and they will appear right there. Make sure you select all of them. Now in the next few seconds, I want the camera to zoom in on my face. So it's going to be a very simple effect. Literally just move the timeline along slightly. And now we zoom in. So zoom in, and I want it to be centered on my face. So we're going to have to pan just a little bit. So there we go, it was centered on my face. Now, even though I've only selected these two, as you can see, these two automatically change. They automatically select the keyframe once you move the camera. You want every one to be selected, even though you haven't moved or changed them. It just makes it a lot easier to edit. So every time you move anything, just make sure all of them are selected. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So we can see the very simple effect. It literally just slowly zooms in on my face. I'm in Reykjavik in Iceland. So now I want to pan around because I want the audience to see where I am. That is the advantage of a 360 camera. It shoots everything at the same time. So I want people to be able to look around like this, because I think it's a pretty cool environment. So what we need to do now, firstly, what I would suggest is in these kind of videos, you do not want the camera to be moving constantly. You do not want it to be zoomed out and then quickly spin around. You want the viewer to have a few seconds to focus on what they're looking at. So what I tend to do is every few keyframes, I copy the last one, Control C, move the timeline along a few seconds, Control V. So that's exactly the same keyframe. So that basically means the camera is steady for a few seconds. And then we can begin moving again, because that just makes the video overall a lot easier to watch and a lot more dynamic, in my opinion. So now I want to pan around literally just use the pan, either, like I say, either drag on the video itself or use this manual keyframe buttons here. And I want to go halfway across the pan around about a few seconds later. I'm going to want to look at the sky a little bit more, so I'm going to tilt the camera up. Don't really need to rotate it very much. The lens curve can pretty much remain the same, and I want to zoom in a little bit at these buildings. So that's a few seconds, and then a few seconds later, continue the pan around, or no, this way, but this time zoom out a little bit. You don't want each keyframe to be very different from the other. You want it to be fairly smooth unless you are transitioning or you're transitioning from one clip to another. I tend to keep my keyframes very smooth so that the camera isn't rushing around the whole time. That makes it quite difficult to watch. So for our last little keyframe, we're gonna...
But during this trip, I'm going to show you how you can create some awesome video using your
See,
GoPro
that's a
Max
bit better, I think. I think that gives the viewer longer to see what the environment is. They're not straining to see what you're showing them. So yeah, overall, I think that's fine. Now, what I would tend to do, I'm not going to go through every single clip. That would take too long. You just follow the same kind of movements as I showed you there. You choose where you want the camera to be looking at any one moment. As you can see, this is the complete clip I did of my travel vlog video. Keep the camera generally focused on myself when I'm talking, but occasionally pan around, let the viewer see. Now, I just want to talk about the structure of a travel vlog that you should make with a 360 camera, because it is different than with a normal camera. Usually normal travel vlogs are very snappy. They go from one clip to another, and then they have a talking element, which is longer. Now, you can follow that kind of setup with this. That's what I tend to do. Longer clips of me talking. However, I still keep the camera moving. I still make sure the viewer can see everything, the entire environment that I'm in. Then I do much snappier clips, so you can still use keyframes, make sure they're just few and far between. However, when you get to a very beautiful scene, if you get to, if you're traveling and you see something like, I don't know, the Grand Canyon or the middle of New York, Times Square, and you want to show your viewer everything about that environment, make sure you give enough time for the viewer to do that. So for example, this beauty shot here, which I'm going to call it, at the top of a tower in Reykjavik, it's very beautiful scenery. So make sure these clips are longer and make sure you use those keyframes to show the audience everything. So I'm panning around, I can show them myself, can zoom back around, show them, zoom in, zoom out. Make sure the viewer has enough time. That's the point of these cameras, to show your viewer everything. So make sure you give yourself enough time and then interject that with, again, shorter clips every now and then. Now, the beauty of these cameras is that you can make sure the camera is fully focused on your face. Even if you're moving about, you just adjust the keyframe slightly every few seconds or so to make sure the camera is focused on you. And then again, make sure you allow the viewer to see everything around, because that is the advantage of these cameras. You may also be wondering how to achieve effects like this. This is something that really is only possible using a 360 camera. These kind of shots, they make creating travel vlogs a lot more interesting. They make shooting them a lot more interesting. And this is really only possible using a 360 camera. So I'm just going to quickly show you how I achieved these two effects. Now, this is a kind of side-on view of me walking along. Now, this is achieved by literally attaching the camera to a selfie stick and pointing it outwards sideways. Now, to achieve the effect that you see in the video, this is without any keyframes. Now, all you need to do is drag the image so that you are at the center of the viewing point, you're at the center of the video. You can either leave it like that or you can zoom out. So it's going to look not really realistic. It's not really a realistic view, but I think it looks quite cool. And it's something interesting that's really only possible with these kind of cameras. And you really only need to select one keyframe because it will stay there for as long as you tell it to. Now, to achieve this tiny planet effect, which I call it, is also something that looks pretty awesome. Firstly, you need to position your camera so that it's quite far away from you and tends to be pointing downwards. So as in this clip, I'm on a bridge and I've basically attached the camera to a selfie stick and I'm pointing it down towards this river, so without getting it wet, although the camera is waterproof, so it wouldn't really matter if I got it wet. Now you want your first keyframe to be looking straight at you, so select those keyframes. You want to move it along, and then now about 5 seconds later, I moved the camera from pointing downwards to sticking right up above my head, so sticking my arm in the air with the camera pointing up. Now you find your point in the video where your camera is pointing above you, and you select another keyframe so that you're looking downwards. So we can just do that on here. And then shortly after that, go to the end of the video and just simply zoom out to achieve the tiny planet effect. This is a really simple effect, but I think it looks really awesome in these kind of environments, and it's something quite unique that many other travel vlogs won't be able to replicate unless they have a 360 camera as well. So guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my quick guide on how to use Premiere Pro and the GoPro Max to shoot some really cool travel vlogs. Follow that same example throughout the travel vlog. Make sure you're using the 360 element. Use those keyframes to point out the most interesting aspects of the environment that you're in. Yeah, just make sure you're making use of the full 360 video, because you are able to show your viewer the entire environment that you're in, which makes it perfect for travel vlogs if you're going to some really awesome places. But now we're going to move on to using the GoPro Max app, which I realize is something that a lot more people are going to use on a regular basis because the app is free. Premiere Pro isn't. A lot of people do not have the time to edit on Premiere Pro, so the GoPro Max app is still pretty good for creating travel vlogs. It's definitely going to be shorter form, definitely better for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, so let's take a look at that. So once you've put all your files in the GoPro Max app, you'll see them appear, and you'll see the little icon with the planet and the camera. That basically means that this is a 360 file. Now, you can't actually use these files straight away. If you want to create a travel vlog, you need to reframe them. You'll need to do the same thing that we did in Premiere Pro, but using the app, and the app makes it actually quite a lot easier, and it's very, very simple to reframe your videos. So just select a video that you want to reframe. Click on the circular button at the bottom. This will start the reframing process. You'll see an option of which aspect ratio you want to select. For most of the time, you're actually going to want to select either 1:1 or 9:16 if you want to shoot for social media. I'm going to select 16:9 because I'm going to show you here on YouTube. So that is the proper aspect ratio for a larger screen and for YouTube. Now you can literally drag along the timeline. You tap that diamond key there and that will start the reframing process. Drag your finger along the screen, select where you want your keyframe to be, where you want the camera to be pointing, and just tap the tick button. Move along the timeline. Select another point where you want your camera to be pointing, tap the diamond button again, and that is basically how you select your keyframes. You can use two fingers to zoom in and out, to pan, to tilt, to rotate, and you can be very creative with what you do. It's basically exactly the same thing as the Premiere Pro plugin, but you are using a touch screen to do it instead, which I think is actually more intuitive. You can also adjust the length of the video, so if you only wanted to use the kind of middle 30 seconds, you can cut out the first and last bit. You can basically trim down your video to just the part that you want to use, which is very handy to save space. Now, once you have done with that reframing, press done and you select render video. So you'll see your rendered video appear in the gallery and it will be next to the video that you reframed, and the difference will be it will just have that video icon, so it won't have the planet, it will just have a kind of video camera icon. Now these are the videos you're going to want to select when you create your travel vlog. So say you've shot 10 360 clips, you're going to have to go in through those 10 360 clips, do the reframing, render them all, and then you select the rendered clips. So I know that's a bit of a arduous workflow. For me, it only takes about half an hour or so to do that. And then the rest of the editing process is actually quite quick because it's all pretty much automatic. Now I've selected a dozen or so reframed clips from my Iceland trip. Now once you've selected all the clips that you want to include in your travel vlog, go to the top and select that plus button with the kind of, what's it called, the camera shutter thing. So yeah, select that and it will start the process of creating your travel vlog. Now it will do this automatically. It will create a travel vlog for you automatically, which you can either keep or you can slightly adjust or edit. But basically what it will do is it will try and match your videos to the sound of the music that it selects. So the beat of the music, the transitions will match. It will try and select the best parts of your video. Now you can go along and see which clips it's used, and if you're happy with them, keep them there. You can either remove them, you can adjust the length of time that they're there for, you can remove them completely, you can add new clips. Now the first thing you're going to want to look at is the bottom of the app. You can see different tabs here. The first tab is where you'll see all your clips and where you can edit them individually. We'll go into that in a little bit. The second tab is quite important. This is the type of video that the app is going to create based on whichever one you select. So you see launch, cine, action, Grammy, etc, etc, etc. This impacts the look of the video, it impacts the transitions, it impacts any effects that the app may add to your video. So for example, cine will create a cinematic effect. It will create these bars at the top and the bottom which look very cinematic. It's very important to select one that matches the kind of video that you're creating. The next clip is where you select the music that you're going to use. So you do have the option of having no music if you want, if you are mostly audio, if you want to use the audio in the camera, that's fine. But depending on what music you select, it will impact how the app creates the video. It will create a faster travel vlog with upbeat music, it will create a slower one, more relaxed music. So it will entirely depend on the kind of video you're trying to create. The story length tab is basically a guide of how long the app thinks your video should be. You can slide along and it will suggest different lengths for different uses. So it always selects a best one for Instagram. There's a option for great music ending. There's usually a couple of those. And then it has an overall suggested length. I tend to go for the suggested length. Now for each clip you can edit, so if you tap on a clip and you select again the edit button, you can trim it, you can reframe it, you can add filters, you can adjust the speed, the volume, you can add text into the clips, and you can adjust the color, saturation, contrast, vibrance. If you don't like what the app has focused on, say for example one clip you would rather it focus on a different point in time than it has selected, go and edit and go onto highlight, move along the timeline and select a point in time where you would prefer the video to be pointing or prefer the app to use that part of the video, and then just tap the highlight button and it will include that part of the video in the overall travel vlog. Basically the highlight tab allows you to select the best parts of each clip, and that's the parts that the app will use to create your overall travel vlog. Once you've rendered your clip, it's ready to view and we can have a look at it now and see what it looks like. Now bear in mind, these clips, like I said, are for Instagram, for Facebook, for TikTok. The app is perfect for editing on the fly, in between traveling to different places. You can edit your travel vlogs and share with your audience what you're doing at the moment in time. The videos rendered with the Max app are also not going to be as high quality because phones are just not as good at rendering as a dedicated desktop or laptop. So guys, that's it. That's my quick tutorial on how to create some travel vlogs using the GoPro Max, using Premiere Pro, and using the GoPro Max app. I know this hasn't been a super intuitive and super detailed tutorial because I don't really think it's worth me going through every tiny point, because you're going to want to be creative on your own. Do your own trial and error. That is the best way to learn. There is no point following a step-by-step guide, because then you're just going to create exactly the same videos that everyone else is. The point of these 360 cameras is to be super creative. So as long as you know how to use the app and how to use those keyframes and the different options available, then you should be good to go. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will try and answer them as best I can. Follow me on Instagram because I've got plenty of clips edited using the app and you can see what's possible there. But until next time, I hope you stay healthy, I hope you're well, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.